Hello and welcome to Words from a Black Woman's Experience. I am your host, Cherlnell Lane, and I am bearing my soul to heal yours. This is where guests come to share unique experiences, perspectives on what they've experienced. Um, I am an artist, speaker, writer, poet, poetic storyteller, excuse me, and other things. I'm also the founder of Cherlnell Lane LLC, where we help you use your words. Words from a Black Woman's Experience was created to highlight Black women's stories. I have created a space where Black women can be themselves boldly and unapologetically. We talk about connections, their lives, lesson learned, and the message they want to leave with the audience. I feel that words are one of the most powerful tools on earth, whether written, spoken, signed, sung, read, or performed. And these are words from a Black woman's experience. In this episode, we will be talking to Saunte Harden-Tate in an episode we call The Power in Black Girl Magic. Saunte Harden-Tate, pronounced Saunte, like you saute, but it's Saunte. Okay. Is a creator, is a creative writer, advocate, community educator, proud mother of two, and wife. Saunte holds an associate's in liberal arts degree, concentration, criminal justice, a bachelor's of arts in behavioral and social sciences, concentration on psychology, and a master's of arts degree in forensic psychology and certifications for sexual assault and domestic violence. Woo! She is accomplished, y'all. She got the credits. Medical, legal advocacy, and crisis. Wait, I'm still hold on. She got certifications for sexual assault, and domestic violence, medical, legal advocacy, and crisis intervention. Wow. Saunte's passion for advocacy started a path in social services, which included advocating for women, children, at-risk youth, young adults, and the LGBTQIA plus community. With a deep-rooted passion for healing, advocating, and educating the community on trauma, Saunte teaches children, teens, and adults about sexual abuse, sexual violence, body safety, and the rights of survivors. As the community educator, Saunte has a special affinity for uplifting and educating the community on the long streaming traumas and struggles that disproportionately affect the Black community. She has created a training that focuses on the lack of disclosures from African American survivors of sexual violence, known as identifying the silence. Knowing firsthand by witnessing the depth of trauma, Saunte has a deep desire to start the healing process, but found that the biggest issue was that the Black community struggled to talk about the many traumas that they deal with every day. So she created a weekly web show called We Gon Talk, which focuses on specific generational curses that primarily affect the Black community. The show's purpose is to initiate the conversations that the Black community avoids in hopes that starting the conversations will ignite the desire to change the narratives that have become detrimentally synonymous to the Black community. Saunte not only uses public speaking to advocate and educate, She also uses poetry to share with others about different traumas and emotions. Sante's personal philosophies are: if I can just plant one seed, or growth is quiet, like the sprouting of roots beneath the soil. She carries those values with her in everything she does because it is her purpose to make a difference. Saunte is known for being down to earth, authentic, transparent, passionate, and strong. She is often asked, why do you do the work that you do? Why do you speak so freely about your own experiences? She always answers with the same: because there is power in knowing you aren't alone. I would like to present to all and reintroduce to others Miss Saunte Harden-Tate. How are you?
Hey, boo. Hey, sis. And hello, world. Hello, hello, hello. How are y'all?
Hey. Okay, that was a stellar bio. Like you have accomplished so much, and you're using your work, your life's work, to take those talents, take those skills, take what you've learned to give back and to give forward, basically. They call it paying forward, but
Mm.
it's giving back. So um so yeah, it amazing, amazing. And thank you for what you do, because there are a lot of people who can get, the accreditations that you have, and they can go and get them a nice cushy job somewhere, where they're not necessarily doing anything for the community, especially our community. So I just want to recognize you and honor you for coming back to us to help us out, because that is very much needed.
I
Very
wouldn't
much.
have it any other way. That's what we are supposed to do. And we're going to talk about that. And that being the power in Black Girl Magic, too, is that we have to reach back from where we started and help those that are coming behind us. So I couldn't see it any other way.
Yes, and I'm ready for that. But I would be remiss if we did not say that is Black History Month. So me, I room for everybody that's black. I'm sorry. I really like that song, you guys. I really like that song.
It's definitely dope.
Yes. So it's Black History Month, and I love Black History Month. Even though I believe Black History is 365, 366 on certain days, but on months, I mean years. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm frustrated today. I don't know why. But yeah, so I am excited because I think people are starting to recognize that there is more to Black history than what's in history or social science books.
Hmm.
People are getting glimpse of, you know higher callings, and ancient traditions and ancient religions. That a lot of the things that people covered, like the Greeks with math and all this other stuff, like that came from Africa. Imhotep, which was like one of the smartest human beings ever, created so many things, and all that got stolen. So I think people are starting to open their eyes to that a little more, especially the youth. I blame that on social media, right? Not in a bad way, but it's because of social media, right? because we can say, hey, no, this happened, look at this, and then they're like, oh, click, and it's that easy. So I'm happy about that. I'm happy myself to learn new things during this month about myself, so that I can be better equipped to help my people. So what are your feelings on Black History?
I have so many. But first and foremost, just to honestly piggyback off of what you said, in that Black history is 365 days. I am Black and melanated every single day, not just 28 days of the month of the year, right? I'm 365 days Black and melanated and proud. So I really think that it's super important that one of the things that we do when it comes to Black history is make it a 365 days a year program. And we don't have to depend on the school structure for that. That's all up to us and what we teach our kids at home, and making sure that we're making the space for them to know that they too can celebrate being Black 365 days a year. So I love Black history just for the fact, or Black History Month, for the fact that we get a little extra love, but it's just extra. It should be just extra, in my opinion. So I get so excited in seeing that awakening that you're talking about with the youth. They going out here and getting the information and finding out more about themselves, and that makes me extremely proud and hopeful for the future that there'll be more emphasis on that 365 and not just that 28. So that's how my feelings are.
Absolutely. I agree with you wholeheartedly. It needs to be a bigger awakening, so to speak, right?
Absolutely.
Um, where we realize that there's more for us. There's more for us, and um, there are more for us because we were so much more. So, more time to learn about that, more emphasis on that is not a bad thing.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So, thank you for that. Now we lost a great, awesome, spectacular person recently, and she is the great, amazing, powerful pioneer, Miss Cicely Tyson. She was such a great person before she was such a great actress. And she was such a great actress, I think, because she was so authentic. And I've seen interviews and heard her speak about the roles she took,
Mhm.
but not only the roles she took, but the characters she brought into them. There was so many times where she would, um, where she would, where she would, change like what they wanted, what the directors wanted. I know she tells this story about how she was doing some acting project and they wanted her to wear straight hair. And she was like, well, this isn't authentic because if this was happening, I wouldn't have straight hair. My hair would be looking like this. And so she went to the barber and she wore straight hair all during the rehearsals, all during the dress rehearsal. Right before the show, the first opening night, she tells the barber to cut her hair real close to the head and wash it so it can just curl up, right? She wears a scarf the whole time backstage, getting ready, all this other stuff. The curtain goes up, she takes her scarf off and walks on stage.
Yes, Miss
But
Cicely. Yeah.
yes, but the director came to her afterwards and said, you cut your hair? And she said, well, yes. He said, I had been wanting to ask you to do that, but I didn't want to ask you to cut your hair because I didn't know what you were going to say. But she took those kind of leaps and bounds, those kind of risks to be authentic to not only herself, but to telling our stories. And I will be forever thankful to her for that. Just watching her growing up on so many different things. She was always like such a great actor. And I don't mean like some people are actresses. You're like, oh, they're that. No, she was like gritty, like from her soul, like theater, Broadway, TV, movie screen, play, everything. She was like from the soul of all of them, wrapped up in this little lady who gave the most powerful, stirring performances. And I don't know about you, but for some reason we thought that she was going to be here forever with us.
It felt like that, right? I think it was just our selfishness. When you get someone that magical, you don't want to, let them go. And seeing as the last year we had of letting go a lot of our magic, right? It was that fear of losing her too. And because she lived such a long, full life, we kind of took it as to mean, well, we'll have her forever, right? So I think that hit us a little bit hard. I know it kind of cut me real deep because it was
Oh,
like, no, not Cicely. I mean, the whole time I've been like, y'all stay away from her during this pandemic. We got to protect Miss Cicely because, she has absolutely been around for so long and she's done so much, even in you sharing that story about her cutting her hair and forcing them to see us was probably one of the best things that she ever did. And you mentioned about the roles that she took, but equally as important was the roles that she wouldn't take. She wouldn't allow us to be painted in this picture, or at least she was not going to be a crutch in that. She was not going to be part of that narrative. And I just think that that's so special, to know that she was fighting for us and paving the way for us to be more than just what they try and debase us to be, right? As Black women, as Black artists, as Black actresses, as Black singers, etc. I am indebted to her and many like her. So as hard as it was to say farewell and rest in peace, Cicely, I'm also saying thank you because your work was done.
absolutely. And that's what I was going to say, like you said, we get selfish. Because I know I was like, what? Where
Right?
did she have to go now? And it was like, she lived 96 years.
That's amazing.
And she worked literally
To the end.
to the end.
Can I
Like,
emphasize on something though, sis? You said
sure, absolutely.
she lived 96 years. I think we need to emphasize on that lived part and not just existing. She didn't just exist. You started out this program, um, and graciously, I thank you for those acknowledgments of reaching back and, paving the way and paying it forward, right? So sometimes when we're just existing, we're not doing the work that we really should be doing. And I think Cicely exceeded that work. I mean, she came in, put her foot in it, her back in it, and everything else, right? And I just think that that's so amazing, to emphasize on that. There's this saying where they put a lot of times in things where it's not about the when you were born and the death date, it's about the dash, and to play focus on the dash, that in between the birth and the death is what matters. What will you say, or what would you have done in that dash? And she definitely made a big dash, right, for all of us, and that's just something to be celebrated.
Definitely. That is definitely like that sums it up. All right. She was an awesome, awesome person, and she will be greatly missed,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
she will also be greatly appreciated.
Absolutely.
And her, like you said, her stamp will forever be on the world. So that's how you want to leave. You know what I'm saying? I want to leave with people not only remembering me, but to remember my work. But not because I wrote it or I'm this, but because of the impact that it left on people. Because of the lives it changed or improved or make you think differently, something like that. So rest in peace, Cicely Tyson. We miss you. We miss you.
Already, indeed.
Already. Because some of these people out now, we need your guidance. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm
We're
sorry.
not going there. It's the power in Black Girl Magic, and
That's
Black Girl
right.
Magic is loving each other. So we're not going there today.
Oh, well, I wasn't necessarily talking about, you know what? Okay. Continuing on.
Yes, indeed.
This is a part of the show that I like to call connections. And I just talk a little bit about how we connected, and you can tell your version. So I met Saunte through a wonderful organization called Surviving the Mic. And I met her through a group meeting there. And when I tell you the first time this young lady spoke words, I was like, oh, she's good. She's good at this, She would read her poetry and she was always like, and I'm like, oh, this is good. Like, and I think we were in like 50 meetings before I even saw her face. The first time I saw her face, I was like, it took me a minute. I was like, I never seen her face before. Like, because I was like, what is so weird about I never seen her. That's what's weird. But she is such a joy. She is so super talented. I think I waited a little while before I became big sister to her. And she was reading something and she was like, oh, and it was like the bombest piece. And I was like, no, that is wrong. And she was like, I was like, no, you're not gonna gloss past that. You're not gonna act like that was like no, that was talented, that was dope. So ever since then I've been like, hey, you're dope, you're gonna do this open mic. Because I think that's just what I told her, like, you want to come to my open mic? I'm like, no, you're gonna come to this open mic. This is
you definitely voluntold me. You definitely voluntold me, and I was like, okay, well, I've never done one before, but if you must, I had just kept all my poetry to myself. But yes, you definitely pushed me.
And now she's in zines. She's performing for K's. She's in the Chicago Reader. Check it out. Yeah, so she is doing such amazing things. I am so proud of her. I'm glad to have met her. I have connected her to some people. Hint, hint, she'll tell you about, We Gon Talk later. But yeah, so that's how we met. That's our connection. Oh, and she was a student. I almost forgot about that.
Yes.
My class, my workshop series, writing through the everyday trauma of being Black in America, all women's version. It was awesome. It was such a pleasure being her teacher and guiding her on the journey to further her acceptance of her talent and her skill and her dopeness. But yeah, so it's been a pleasure meeting you and connecting with you. So I'm turning over the floor.
I really don't know what else to add to that. It definitely has been amazing. One of the things that I always try and keep in the forefront is being put in certain situations and opening certain doors and not knowing what they'll lead to. So walking into the door of Surviving the Mic, I found my writing community. I found a lot of my inspiration. I found a sisterhood, and we have some brotherhood in there as well. We definitely have men in Surviving the Mic also, but just the common ground to be authentic and vulnerable, and also that be highlighted as a strength for us too. So I absolutely positively am so grateful for surviving the mic and for you, because as you said or alluded to just a moment ago, meeting you also connected me to your sister, Natalie Battles, who is my co-host on We Gon Talk. And I just love me some Natalie. Like, we've definitely started to build and forge this friendship and sisterhood. I feel like I've known her all my life, and I'm older than her. So, that goes to say a lot about that connection. But you just never know who will enter into your life. And so it's super important to say those yes and take those chances and put yourself in certain situations, because you just never know what it'll lead to. So I'm just so grateful. You give me a lot of acknowledgement, but I can't not give you all the acknowledgement, because you absolutely were a great influencer in me getting out here with my writing. And that piece was the domestic violence piece about being in an abusive relationship. And I think it was with the twist at the end that you were like, oh my goodness, yes. And I'm just so grateful to have met you. So
likewise, likewise, likewise. Now, getting to the meat and potatoes.
yes, ma'am.
Or the mushrooms and black salts for our veggies, vegetarians, vegans out there. Um, you are going to take us on a journey to find the power in Black Girl Magic. The power
Absolutely.
in Black Girl Magic, right?
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
always words. Okay. And I'm very curious because I am very into Black Girl Magic. I have earrings called Magical Black Women. I'm into it, right?
Right.
I believe that we have such a power within us that few of us know how to tap into. And I am very curious, interested, and awaiting hearing your experience with that. So tell me, how did you first not even learn about necessarily your Black girl magic, but that Black girls are magical? How does your journey begin?
Oh my goodness. First from watching my mother, who's a very, very, very strong woman. And then starting to notice like those celebrities or those people that do these things and have these ways of inspiration. For me, Black Girl Magic can tap into many different ways. Like, you can use Black Girl Magic in many ways. Like, there's so many different powers, superhero powers, right? You got people that can fly, you have people that can see through walls. And Black Girl Magic is no different. And so when you have the power of inspiration and Black Girl Magic, there's something very beautiful in that, something very profound in that. And I first really understood the power in Black Girl Magic through the power of inspiration when I would be in certain circles or in certain environments or hear certain words, hear like one of my favorite poets, Maya Angelou. I read her book probably way sooner than I was supposed to, knowing the content, but just knowing her story and knowing her poetry and her use of words and how she can inspire. Like, the first time I heard Phenomenal Woman, I wasn't even a woman, but I felt like one. And it was like, whoop, yes, I didn't have the curve of my hips and I didn't have any of that, but it was just the power in hearing that and what it did. It gave me goosebumps. And when you can inspire others as a Black woman, as a Black girl, using your Black girl magic, there is something amazing in that. And so I think that is when I first really understood Black girl magic, before there was a word for it, before we were labeling it Black girl magic. When we were just like, what is this feeling I have? When it was just a passion that you couldn't describe, where you felt that fieriness or people didn't quite understand if you were angry or upset, but it was like, no, I'm passionate. Like, it was all of those pieces of Black girl magic for me where I fell in love with it and understanding the greatness in it.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. I think I identify so greatly with you saying about Maya Angelou. I wanted to ask you, so how old were you when you read that?
I had to be like 10 or so, probably like 10 or 11 when I read I Know Why That Cage Bird Sings. And I didn't even really know what I was reading. I just knew that I heard some poetry and was like, this woman is incredible. But I definitely was younger because if you read the book, she talks very openly about some things, and it gets explicit, but it's explicit for the greater good. If she was being real and authentic in describing her obstacles and what she went through. So, it was far beyond my time, but enough where I understood the beauty in it and the power in her writing that book. So probably about 11.
I feel you. I was also about that age when I read her books, and you was talking about Phenomenal Woman. I used to perform that
Yes.
in grammar school. I would go to I would have the poetry contest or oratory contest at my school. Then I'll win that, go to the district, win that, go to the state. To the city. Then I think I actually went to the state one time, but I would do this all the time. And my go-to piece was Phenomenal Woman.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm like, why? Why was I performing that
It
at that
was okay.
age? But
It was okay. It gave you something to inspire or aspire to become. Was that woman she talked about? It was just such an amazing self-love piece. And I think that even now, just thinking about the words, and really because they ring so much truer now as a grown woman, right? That has the swing in her hips and all of that. It's just like, oof, Maya, boy, she was on something.
uh, she was a firecracker. I know that
Yes, she
much.
was.
Yeah, but I feel you on that black girl magic and the power that she gave. But not only her, like so many others. But I definitely identify closer with that story because I know how much her writing, her just everything, right? Her
Mhm.
once I read her stories, and I read like the whole series, like then, and like it just, I wanted to be a madam for the longest time. Let me tell you, until I was well into my adulthood. And they'd be like, "You want to be a madam?" And I was like, "Yep." They was like, "Why?" My Angelou was a madam.
Right?
Excuse me. Why you want to be that? Maya Angelou was a madam. You can't tell me there's something wrong with being a madam because Maya Angelou was a madam.
She was.
I was
Yeah,
like,
she
I'm gonna
was.
open up my brothel. Y'all ain't ready
At all, right?
at all. But yeah, I definitely see that. So when or what is your story with discovering your power in Black Girl Magic? Like,
Oof.
take us on your experience of that, and then just tell us your experience, period, with Black Girl Magic.
I don't think I quite even recognized that I even had the magic until much later in life. And still a work in progress on that. And you said just a moment ago, you alluded to my still trying to feel confidence in presenting my work and sharing my poetry with others. And I'm still trying out this whole artist thing for size, as I still sometimes have to go against that self saboteur in us to say that I'm not good enough, I'm not ready enough, I'm not bold enough, I'm not enough. And so I think for the longest of time, I had this not enough shadow of doubt always casted over myself. More than anyone else did it for me, it was myself. Of never feeling like I had reached that level enough to even realize I had the magic. I think when I really started to realize that I had the magic and that there was power in me was becoming a sexual assault medical legal advocate. And in doing that, if you're not familiar about the work, what you do as a sexual assault medical legal advocate is you go into the hospitals after someone has been sexually assaulted, and you be a support for them while they do the process of reporting and doing the evidence collection kit and all of that. And going into my very first call, I had a young woman, a young Black woman, and having her tell me after the 5 hours or so of being at the hospital with her that, you know, I saved her in that moment because she felt like there was nothing else in life and that she wants to fight and she is going to move forward, and that she was so grateful for me being there for her in that time. I realized like there is power in being there for others, and I have magic, and it was important for me to be a support. And that experience sent me on a huge journey of trying to discover, and not just discover, because I think as sometimes as a Black girl, we may be aware of our power, but then we have life and systemic world views and just the way that the world is set up. It almost sometimes extinguishes our magic, or it makes us feel like we need to extinguish our own magic. And so while I'm aware, even to this day, of that magic, I constantly have to remind myself and give myself permission to live in it and do what Cicely did and so many women before us. Like, it's okay to know it. It's not enough to know it. I need to live in it. So even if it rubs someone the wrong way, even if someone feels envious, even if someone doesn't understand it, even if someone judges it, I must live in it. And so my journey in Black Girl Magic is reminding myself every day, giving myself permission every moment to live in the magic and then sprinkle some on everybody else.
Wow, that is amazing. So my question is, you said that part of Black Girl Magic is even though we get opposite reactions for our magic, right? They try to suppress us, they try to berate us into not using it, or trick us, into saying we don't have it. What or how did you get through all of that to get to the point where you were like, I'm gonna do it. This is what I'm gonna do because it's mine. I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna give it to others. So, take me on that process for you.
One experience in particular constantly makes me remember the importance of living in my Black girl magic, and that's my daughter. And having heard her tell me once how proud of me she was the fuel, the gasoline on the flame. It was enough to keep me going because it was the realization that I'm making the way for her. She's the one behind me, and there are others behind me that I may not even be aware are behind me. So, but just knowing that my daughter looked up to me and she was aspiring to be like me, it made me realize that I need to be the woman that I want her to be. I owe it to her to not just say be her. I need to be her, and I need to be her to the best of my ability. So every day I wake up and tell myself that reminder that I'm being who I need my child to grow up to be. I need her to be the change I tell her is needed in the world. I can't
Yeah.
teach that if I'm not living that. So we have to be more than just our words. We have to be the example. And so knowing that she's watching, and so are others. I have nieces, I have friends, I have younger cousins, I have sisters. Every time I give myself permission to shine, I unconsciously give them the same permission to do so too.
Absolutely, absolutely. There are there are a lot of Black women out there who not only don't recognize or or see their black magic for what it is. But there are also some out there who know that they have the magic, but they don't, when they use it, they don't see the power in it affecting everyone else.
Mhm.
Um, Such as your example with like your daughter, with like your nieces, like it doesn't even stop at you. It doesn't even stop at your daughter. It stops where far beyond wherever you can think of. So yes, it goes so far. But what do you say to black women who are necessarily just using their black girl magic in a way they think just benefits them?
That you're doing yourself a disservice. More than everyone else, you're doing yourself a disservice because I believe we're all here for a purpose and it's up to us to live in it. We have to be the purpose. And if you're not doing the work that you are meant to do, you can't get the fruits of the labor in doing it as well. You can't get the blessings. You can't get the energy. You can't receive what's meant for you because there is reception and you showing up. So you have to show up for them because if you're not, you're also doing yourself a disservice in that as well. So it's just so much more than us. The power in Black Girl Magic exceeds us exponentially. It's not just about you. It's about so many around you that you're not even aware that they're looking to you and they're watching you. You're not aware of what your power does for them and how being in your power allows them to find their own. And we have to be very cognizant of that always. And as long as we're operating in that and knowing that there's something bigger, something more beyond just ourselves, the things that are meant for us will come. And you can't receive those things without showing up.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, you are dropping knowledge today. I think that there are a lot of people who need to hear this, especially after the year we've had, right?
Absolutely.
Um, Another question. We're talking about the power in Black Girl Magic. We're talking about how we have the ability to accomplish things and to be a light and a beacon to people and girls and women and everybody, right? To show them that we do possess magic, we do have magical powers, and we will use them for the greater good. Um, so, my question is during the past year, of the forgotten year of 2020, which
Gosh.
we all, I don't even count it. I did something in 2019. I was like, yeah, last year. They was
You're
like,
right.
2020.
It's
I
a
was like, no,
whole
that don't
year.
count. That don't count. But yes, in during 2020, we have experienced a lot with shutdowns, coronavirus, all the orange Cheeto, all these things, right? Um, So another thing that was happening during 2020 is people were like, "Oh, I'm getting this done." People have written books, they've started businesses, they've started YouTube channels and podcasts. Who would have thought? But there is also a narrative that has been created from that's saying, if you come out of this pandemic without this, and this, what are you doing with your life? You're not doing anything, So in that way, I think it's kind of like the reverse. I think it's people I think it's people who need to know that that is not that is not an abuse of your black girl magic. So those are my thoughts on it, right? So people are part of black girl magic is resting. Part of black girl magic is rejuvenating. So I want you to talk about the black girl magic power in that and not trying to do everything is just because you have the magic doesn't mean you have to save the whole world today. So I just want to get your opinion on that.
Absolutely, Cherlnell. So when it comes to that, I don't believe in weaponizing anything against each other. Like that's just not part of the magic. It's counterproductive of the magic. And seeing as it was such a trying year, a lot of us was simply trying to survive. And there is magic in surviving as well, because when you survive, you live to do more than another day. So you absolutely just need to be able to survive and make it from moment to moment. I don't believe in that saying, that phrase that we see going around, that if you come out of this or without that you've done yourself a disservice. I think it's the opposite. If any of us come out of this, we've come out of this, and we need to be grateful, and we need to celebrate that, because that is a triumph, that is a victory. And so, to those that are hearing that, don't let anybody make you feel like you're less than, or you are not tapping into your Black girl magic because you haven't started a business, because you haven't started a web show. For some of us, that was the motivator we needed. But for others, like you said, we needed to rest. We needed to have time to take a breath. We needed to have time to replenish. I consider myself a healer. I can't heal others if I am not whole myself. I can't pour from an empty cup. I can't receive if I'm too full. I need to rest and
Say
allow
that.
myself to be receptive, to be
Yes.
present, to be able. So, yes, resting is part of that Black girl magic. Superheroes have to tie up their cape. Sometimes they have to hang it up for the day.
Absolutely. It reminds me of the commercial with the little girl that's always wearing the cape
Hmm.
and like she never takes it off, but then the dad has to trick her to wash it. So it's like she has to do something else while this is taken care of, you know. And that's what
Absolutely.
I think about with the cape analogy. Like you gotta wash it.
You got to wash it.
You gotta let it dry. So definitely, I think I agree that there is magic in just surviving.
Absolutely.
You know, a lot of people say stuff like, you know, we are not our ancestors, right? And there is mixed messages in that because, like you said, our ancestors survived, right? Under
For us.
horrific conditions. We think now it's set up to kill us. Now it's set up to kill us.
Hmm.
It wasn't even no setup before. It was just blatant.
In your face.
Just blatant. And they survived through that. And they didn't survive all the time because they didn't want to fight. They didn't survive all the time because they thought they couldn't. Even though that is a systematic thing from slavery. I'm not denying that. But I'm
Right.
saying sometimes we survive so that our seeds can survive,
Absolutely.
so that we can move on. Um, so my next question kind of evolves into that. I know you're a mother, um, so am I,
Hmm.
and I know that a lot of times we have magic in ourselves just from doing, you know, different things with children, raising children. Period. Having a child is a
It's magic.
piece. It's definitely magic.
It
Definitely
is.
magic. No one can explain that process. Okay,
Mm-mm.
um,
Mm-mm.
it's just yeah, it's definitely magic. Getting a thread through a needle is
It's magic.
it's less magic than having a baby.
But it can be magic too now. We got some seamstress out there
Oh yeah,
that
they
that's
can
doing,
produce
it's making it
magic.
happen. Yes.
Definitely. Yeah. Oh yes. Oh yes. So I just wanted you to talk about even as far as goes to motherhood. There always is a debate about, you know, oh, I want to be a housewife. I want to be a stay-at-home mom. I want to be a working mom. And each one I think gets slack from the other.
Absolutely.
And I was just wondering your opinion on like, or like you explaining how all of those positions somehow accesses magic in each one of them.
As someone that's done both, I've been the stay-at-home mom, I've been the working mom, I've been both, and they are equally just amazing jobs. To be quite honest, I think at times being a stay-at-home mom required much more than actually a working mom, because when you're staying at home, you're literally on your job 24/7. When you're a working mom, whether your children are at school or with the babysitters at the daycare, you're relying on your village for a great part of the work that it requires to raise a child, to rear a child. And so I've been on both sides of the fence, and I get so sad in hearing the slack that each side throws at one another, because both takes an extreme amount of magic to make it happen. If you're the stay-at-home mom, it's not enough that you're just staying at home. You're doing the laundry, you're keeping the house, you're doing the grocery shopping. You're showing up for your kids, whether they have a tummy ache or a recital, or it's report card pickup, or it's just an after school activity. I got to be there when my children had all of those by being a stay at home mom. I never missed a beat. And knowing what that did for them as children, and seeing the influence that that had, the impact that it had in being available, being accessible for my kids when they had a bad day at school and they just needed a hug or whatever it was. There was power in that. And as a working mom right now, although I'm working from home, I was the mom that was out in the world working, where I was going to the office and doing all of these things, and still rising up in the morning, making sure there was breakfast. I would bake fresh baked cookies every Friday. I wrote notes on their snack bags every single day, just words of inspiration. Everything we do from a mother's perspective is from magic, because what requires us as mothers to do most times, that we talk about most times and we acknowledge, is we actually do pour from that empty cup, and we find the fortitude, we find the strength to fill it up again when there's nothing else left in there at all. And there is absolute magic in that, whether you do it at home or you do it at work. Everything
Mm,
you do as a mother requires that black girl magic. So we need to acknowledge that.
absolutely, absolutely. That is that is so true. I think that um we give each other slack, period, as Black women. And we
Absolutely.
talk about coming together, and we should. And there are a lot of us coming together now. Um, but we still have quite a ways to go.
Absolutely.
I think that it's been so much division
Mhm.
placed upon Black women, through systematic racism. But it's been so much that now it's like ingrained almost,
Yeah.
but some of it is like extra. I've been I It's one of the common things said is that you can't you can't hold on, I want to read this comment from Eb Bush. Too much pain and pleasure, comparing rather than a perspective understanding. It's tough for all of us. I've never been a stay at home mom, but I understand the levels it would take to never be off as a stay at home mom. So I respect all of us. That
Absolutely.
is such a true statement. Thank you, Eb, so much for that. And I agree. That's what we need to talk, which is what I was getting to, right? So what we need to talk about is coming together, right? And
Yes.
because we know magic from one person is one thing, But when you have that group, that power multiply, it's a magical thing. Look at what happened in Georgia, right? The
Absolutely.
power of those women leading the charge, like they magically put that extra umph in there, and it was like just, oh, we gonna change Georgia. Y'all ain't ready. Watch this, you know. So, and they did it twice. They did it twice. They did it in
They
a
did it twice.
presidential election. Then they did it in a runoff. I was like, okay, all right, I see y'all, Black Girl Magic.
Because
So,
energy is not never destroyed, it's only transferred.
you
So
better.
we have to always remember that. If we sprinkle our black girl magic, we're transferring it to the next. And we need to do that every single day. Even when we don't feel like it's really making a difference, it's always, always making a difference.
Yes, yes. About that. So transferring the magical sprinkles, the Black Girl Magic. How will we? How should we? Um, how should we not only acknowledge our own Black Girl Magic, spread it on to other people, and continue with it? So, my last question is, before I ask my last question, I would like to let you all know that Surviving the Mic is having an open mic on fourth Sundays from 4 to 6. I remember the beat we had it to fourth Sundays from 4 to 6, fourth Sundays from 4 to 6, fourth Sundays from 4 to 6. And you all can join us. It's virtual, so you don't have to leave your house. And we'll be meeting virtually from 4 to 6 on the fourth Sunday of this and every month following. And you can join the open mic by going to bit dot ly slash STM open mic 21. STM open mic 21. Um, so yeah, join us. We'll love to have you. If you're a poet, come speak. I'm gonna have what am I forgetting? Oh yeah, Saunte is the feature poet for the open mic in February. She's just doing big things this February, y'all. Y'all see this? Y'all see this Black Girl Magic up in here? She is
Don't have me
doing
break out my robot. Break out the robot. Okay, y'all took it
yes,
back.
but I am going to have you leave the audience with something.
Yes, so I would like to share a poem that I wrote that is talking about Black girl magic and the power of it. So y'all bear with me, y'all. I'll go ahead and read this. I'm working on that artistry part of performance, but I'm gonna go ahead and leave y'all with this. The power and Black girl magic. Can we celebrate Black women? For a moment, can we celebrate the uniqueness and the endless lineage of beauties, the differences that we share, and the similarities? Can we pause and marvel in awe? Can we pay homage to all the magic that we've brought? Can we be reminded of all that we get done? Highlight our victories and all of our triumphs. Black women get it done. I said, Black woman magic gets it done. You are magic. Did you not know? In the toughest conditions, you still grow. Through shattered confidence, breaking the strongest lies, and perpetual misunderstandings, and through saturated eyes. You, Black woman, stand tall no matter what they say. You, the Black woman, gets it, makes it happen every day. The power of Black girl magic is undeniable. The power of Black girl magic is the most reliable. Black girl, work your magic. It's needed in this world. It the work that magic. You are extraordinary, girl. You're brown, sugar, golden, glistening, bold, and strong, dark and lovely. Your kinky, knotted, curly, wavy strands of heritage. Your brilliance, your expression, your intelligence. Your full figure, your slim thick, your petite frame, your thick, your nose, and those full lips. Life giving stretch marks, those childbearing hips. Shine, Black girl. Sprinkle your magic. Not sharing the glow with the world would be simply tragic. You use that Black girl magic proudly and pave the way for the Black girl behind you that may need a clear path one day. Sprinkle your magic, Black girl, like all the ones before that didn't just open it, they kicked in the door. Make room, create a way to pave the way for the next future female leader, freedom makers like the next Harriet, the next Michelle or Cicely, Kamala, Viola or Shirley, Billy, Beyonce or Stacy, Catherine, Janet, and Taraji, Regina, Issa, Ava, too, Shonda, Amanda, and Maya Angelou, Ida, Felicia, and Misty, Serena, Simone, and Holly, Angela, Rosa, and Zora, Coretta, Tony, and Oprah, Lupita, Aretha, and RBG, May, Nina, and Whitney. So many path makers, so many to name. We aren't opponents to each other. We are teammates in the game. You are part of the path of progression. Those that follow you, dreams need protection. The power of Black girl magic surpasses what you see. I shine to give you permission to, not really just for me.
I'm over here screaming. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was trying to hold me in. I know if some comments wanted to come in, but I had to do that for the audience because we can't hear you. So I was doing it for me and for you too. All right. It was so awesome. It was so awesome. Look. You see, fire! It was lit. Look at this. Natalie said, come on, sis. Yes. We got Denise Jackson. She said, beautiful.
That's my mama-in-law.
All snap and Bush says, yes.
Thank y'all.
We got Natalie. She put a picture up of her with hers, but we can't post that. Wow. Ernestine Battles gave you 561 clapping hands. And Bush gave the praise hands, the I love you hands, the rock on hands, and hand claps. You are getting, look, it's awesome. You are awesome. You are fantastic.
Thank y'all.
I am so blessed to have had you here. We have talked so fluently that we are already 5 minutes over. I don't care because this was an awesome conversation. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you. Now, Denise Jackson also gave you a kiss. It's a picture, so I can't put it up. She says, she's giving hearts to everybody. So tell us where we can find you and what you have coming up.
Absolutely. Please join us every Wednesday live on Facebook at 8 p.m. for We Gon Talk. It is my web show where we are breaking generational curses together. We are talking about all the conversations that we don't really talk about, that need to talk about. And it's a really fun-loving, feel-good show. Sometimes we have the hard conversations that don't always feel good, but it's necessary. So join us every week for that. And coming soon with We Gon Talk, it'll be We Gon Chat, and it'll just be small little bites where I'm coming in, just giving food for thought and just checking in with you guys between shows weekly. And I'll be the feature poet at the STM Surviving the Mic open mic every fourth Sunday from, what is it, 4 to 6? Did I get it right? 4 to 6. Well, I'll be sharing some more of my work, and you can find me on Facebook at We Gon Talk. You can also find me on Instagram and Twitter, and the YouTube channel is up and running.
Yes, I am so proud of you. And I'm just so glad that you are walking in your Black girl magic and in your power. This has been an awesome conversation. Eb Bush says, this room invite flew by my timeline. The universe and Mr. Tate guided me here, and I'm so happy to be here to witness this. I needed this, and so did my spirit.
That makes me happy. That's what it's all about.
Post the link for the open mic and the links to Miss Saunte's all her links, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, are in the description of this video. Also, there was something else. We Gonna Talk, all that's in the description box of this video. So quickly, while I'm typing the link in the chat box, I wanted to talk about the next show we have coming up on the 8th. We're keeping on with our Black History Month extravaganza. We will have Abdullah. Natalie, tell me if I'm saying this right. Abdullah Mali. Is that right, Natalie? Somebody help me now. I just want to make sure I pronounce her name correctly, right, because I hate when people mispronounce my name. So, okay. Yeah, okay, I think that's it. Yep, I did it. I posted the link. All right. But before I get a response for that, we have Abdullah.
She said yes, that is correct.
Oh, Abdullah Mali, she is coming next week. She is an awesome sister. I met her a long time ago. Wow. You know how you think back like, oh my God, I've been on you that long. She's an awesome woman, an awesome spiritual woman, a mother, a great poet. She is also she has I'm trying to remember the name. Natalie, what's the name? Tika, right? Is the scarves Tika? Tika, I think. She'll let me know in a minute. Tika, she has the head scarves and the different accessories. She also has a Peace of Mind bakery right next to the Culture Connection. And she's just awesome. She's gonna come and bless us and give us words from her experience next week. And yes, so thank you very much. Oh, and the open mic STM in the chat. I forgot to say I'm the host. Boom Bow Battle Raps. I forgot. And Battle Rap. She also has Battle Rap, which is where they teach you to rap your stuff. So that's it for me. My information is also in the description box. Catch me at Cherlnell everywhere. That's CHERLNELL everywhere. If you want to be a guest on Words from a Black Woman's Experience, please email me, Cherlnell@Cherlnell.com. All right, you guys, we went long. Thank you so much, Saunte. I love you so much for coming.
I love you more.
Everybody out there, this has been Words from a Black Woman Experience. That's our piece. Peace, and we'll see you.